A report has just been released that inflation is at 8.5%, and if you consider a bunch of other factors and variables, it's likely a lot higher. That's just what they're admitting to us. On top of that, the price to attend a public university has gone up as high as 211% in the last 20 years, but it is a very particular time right now. And I just figured that I would share some of my advice and some of the things I've learned since graduating 9 months ago for people that have already graduated and want a little bit of support, want a few more ideas to kind of throw around and keep in their head while they're trying to get through things, or for people that are going to be graduating in the next couple months, next few years. This is hopefully just going to be some advice to keep you guys on your feet and thinking about the long-term goals that you might have and how you can achieve them. So a little bit of context, I did graduate from the University of Oregon in June 2021. It is now April 2022, so coming up on 1 year post-graduation. For my situation, I was able to find a job straight out of college. I was doing some interviews in the springtime leading up to graduation, and in May I was able to land a job that was going to start in June, right after I graduate. So that's kind of my situation. I've been working the same job since. I work from home, I work remotely, and I am in marketing and communications. So that's just to provide you guys a little bit of information of what my situation is and how I've kind of gone about things. I have been working for these last 9 months. I'm not new to the working world. I have been doing a lot of things throughout growing up, even kind of starting my own businesses such as YouTube. I've had a few other side businesses. In college, I started my own digital marketing business to try to hone in on my skills and make some money on the side. So it's not that I've only been working for 9 months, but for a full-time job, this is what I've been doing for the last 9 months, and then I have that experience prior. But I'm just going to talk to you guys about some of the things that I've learned while doing all of that stuff, especially in the last 9 months, because graduating was kind of a worrying thing coming into this economy. Now, we have people telling you it is one of the best times to get a job. The market is suited for people that are trying to upgrade and get new jobs and raise their pay a whole lot. And that's a really frustrating thing to hear for a lot of people. Because I know a lot of people where that doesn't seem to be the case at all, and it really isn't for a lot of people as well, especially not people graduating right now or in the next couple years, because it tends to lean to people who already have the experience. Now, of course, there's a lot more to get into there, but let's kind of rewind here and start with the basics. And guys, real quick with this video, I do want to announce that the partnership of this video is with Dossier. Dossier reproduces classic high-end luxury scents at a fraction of the price, keeping the exact same high quality by cutting out all the expenses and the brand tax. Any scent is $39 or less, while designer scents range from $50 up to $280 in retail. This powdery tobacco scent is inspired by a line from Tom Ford at a much more affordable price. There are free exchanges and returns forever. Dossier has a welcome offer with up to 20% off the website. However, you can get up to 30% off your first order by using the discount link in the description of my video. Dossier has a new payment method that lets you earn store credit. Select cash at the last step of the checkout and you can earn yourself a $10 bonus credit and even get rewarded with 10% store credit on every order after that. Now, with that being said, the first point that I want to make is just to not compare yourself to other people. There are so many different situations that will happen in an individual's life or even just the world around them that's going to kind of shape what opportunities they might have or you might have. So to compare yourself to other people is just going to put yourself in a weird spot, because it doesn't just have to be, oh, I'm not doing as good as someone else. It could also be that you get a little bit too content and you think, I'm doing so much better than other people. Look at, that's kind of the bar right now. I can relax, I can ease up. When in reality, you don't want to be doing either of those things. You just want to focus on your goals and what makes you feel the most comfortable. Because if you start comparing yourself to other people, you might be comparing yourself to things that you cannot control. Maybe someone else has very rich parents and they're getting their rent paid for, or at least helped out on by those parents. And then you could have somebody who has zero help whatsoever, has been doing it all on their own, has a heap of loans ready to be paid once the interest rates kick back off. So, you just never know what's going on. And the point is just not to worry about that, because you have to worry about what works for you. And that's not even to talk about, some of the other factors like what kind of job you might be getting, because it might depend on what your field is. Is your field going to be super competitive right out of the gate? Are you in a field where there's not as much competition and potentially the salaries are going to be higher just because that's the nature of the field, and the course load through school and what you've done on the side to build up a position for yourself in that situation? You might even be worried about where you live, the city's housing market. It could be impossible to find an apartment. In fact, where I'm at, it actually was very challenging, and I kind of got lucky. I found just the perfect place. It worked out. Everything came together. So sometimes things just fall into your lap, or they don't even happen at all, and you just have to work with what you've got. The only thing you can control is to do the very best by your own standards, and it's okay to not be fulfilled with where you're at either, because that just means you have more hunger to grow and continue working hard to get to where you want to be at. So with that being said, kind of leading on to the next thing is, I am a very money-oriented person. I love talking finance and personal wealth and all this stuff. So I have to say, make sure you're extremely careful with how you spend your money. And with that being said, if you haven't thought about investing, you need to think about it. Now, maybe you're someone who's not very good with money. Maybe you haven't invested a single dime before. But it is very important to hear this. There's a reason why everybody says it. You do have to start thinking long-term and investing your money. You're not going to be able to get out of the rat race, as most people would call it, without doing so. And that looks different for everybody. Not everybody has a bunch of income to be putting aside for investments, but everybody can optimize the way they spend their money. And what I mean by that is not even necessarily talking about between wants and needs, but more like wants and peace of mind, because there's going to be a lot of times where you might be a little bit worried. What happens if I have to change this about my lifestyle? Maybe I have to move somewhere new. Maybe that means finding a new job. Maybe the economy really takes a hit even more so, and you might lose your job. You never know what might happen. So the peace of mind knowing that you've been smart with your money, you haven't burned through it all, and you have something to fall back on if necessary is unbelievably important and cannot be valued enough, because it allows you to sleep at night. It allows you to know that at the end of the day, you're going to be able to continue living your life without kind of falling all the way to the bottom of the staircase again. And like I said, everybody's income level is going to be different. Everybody's situation is going to be different. So whether you're not even able to find a job right out of college, maybe it takes you quite a while. Maybe you're living with your parents. Maybe you're living with roommates. Whatever you want to do, the last thing that you want to do after graduating is to waste money. And I promise you, every single person can optimize their budget if they're not doing so already. It doesn't matter if you're not making very much money at all. It doesn't matter if you're making a ton of money. You can make $200,000 a year and live paycheck to paycheck because you're not spending right. You can also make $25,000 a year and still be able to put money aside. It all depends on your living situation, where you're living, how you're living, and what you're doing with your money. So whether that means cutting out eating out food a lot, that means optimizing how you're spending at the grocery store. Maybe you've gone for an apartment that just costs too much and doesn't make sense for you, and you need to think about either living with roommates, downgrading to a smaller apartment, or if it's possible to move back home. These are all things that are going to be really important. There's always room to improve how you're spending your money and therefore how you're saving your money. Because at the end of the day, if you're budgeting it all out and you find you have a little bit of money left over after the bills are paid, whether that's rent, groceries, paying for your car, paying for your phone, whatever it's going to be, that doesn't mean, great, now it's time to spend all that money. Don't even think about it. I already have my bills paid. That's the money that you should be now thinking, sweet, now I can actually go ahead and invest this and work towards something bigger, whether that's an investment or, like I said, kind of the rainy day fund. Now you have something that you can work with. You can make your money work for you, whether it's in the stock market or eventually, you have enough money to go ahead and purchase that first property. It's going to work out, and it's going to make you sleep better at night, and it's going to help you get out of whatever situation you're currently in to the situation you want to be in. You have to be able to spend money that's, going to allow you to have a good time, enjoy your lifestyle. And so that's all just part of the budgeting process, though. It doesn't mean never eat Chipotle, never get your Starbucks in the morning. It just means plan that out a little bit. If you're doing that every single day and you find you don't have any money left at the end, that means you can make changes. If you're doing that once, twice a week, and you're finding, sweet, I can easily manage this, well, that's perfect. You need to have a lifestyle you enjoy. But if you can cut it out a few more times a week, kind of balance things out. Now you have some savings, now you have something to invest, and truth be told, you're just going to be able to do that even more in the future once you're finally ready to kind of take advantage of those investments and reap the rewards of what you've done. Now I hope you kind of see how this list is connecting, because my next point is going to be find time to stick with your hobbies and give yourself a chance to find new ones if you don't really have any currently. Now a lot of the time, hobbies and stuff like that can cost money. They can cost you time, which is money in a different sense, but it doesn't mean you should be changing your lifestyle to only focus on making money and only working and budgeting to the max. Like, you need to be able to do things you enjoy, and I cannot stress this enough, because there will be times, whether it's work related, money related, or just lifestyle related, where something changes, you might not be feeling as well, and you need to have the things that you can rely on to make you feel better. And I can give you perfect examples of that. In the last 9 months, I have kind of slipped on some of my hobbies. There have been times where I haven't been focusing on them as much, and it honestly completely sucked, and it's not worth it. You're not going to be enjoying your life, even if you are saving more money, even if you think you have more free time because, oh, I'm just kind of going to be lazy and do this. It just doesn't feel good, and it's hard to climb out of that hole. Whether that means, going to the doctor and trying to find out what's wrong. If you have depression, maybe that's medication. It's going to be important, and it's not going to be easy, but if you have the things that you enjoy, you're going to be having a better time in life, and there's no reason to give up on things you enjoy to focus on things you don't just to get money. It's all a balance. Sometimes you will need to do things like that, but don't give up on them. I love playing video games, I love going to the gym, I love soccer, and I love making YouTube videos, and for most of those, I've been pretty consistent with, but I haven't posted a YouTube video in, I think, like 5 or 6 months, and that sucks. I kind of got busy, I kind of got lazy, I started to kind of get in a rhythm where I just didn't feel like it, and breaks are okay, but kind of just giving up on stuff because it's easier not to is kind of a dangerous place to be, and that's kind of where I was at with YouTube. And I love making videos, so I'm trying to climb out of that right now. That's why I'm making this one, and so hopefully I'm going to be a lot more consistent, but everybody has their issues. Everything's going to happen sometimes, and it's tricky to control. But the best you can do is try to focus on how to kind of get out of that rut and start scheduling things differently. And even better, sometimes people will say don't mix your hobbies with money and things like that in terms of making money. It kind of depends. I mean, it just feels about what's right for you. For instance, me with YouTube, I actually do make money off YouTube. So I was also losing some income over these last few months because I wasn't making any videos. That's not the reason why I do YouTube. I've done it for a long time without making money. And now it's just kind of something that I've worked hard on and set myself up with, that I can actually make money from it. So if you're giving up on something that is also productive, that's kind of a double whammy. So you just have to focus on the things you like. If you can build something out of it as well, that's great. And just continue working hard. You're going to have times where you feel burnt out, and breaks are going to be okay, but don't try to just kind of avoid something, let it kind of sit there and give up on it, because it's not going to feel good at the end of the day. So guys, those are kind of my 3 main overall things that I wanted to focus on in this video. Don't compare yourself to other people. You just have to do right by yourself and the best you can for your lifestyle. Focus on kind of saving your money, investing it, and thinking about the long-term goals you have, because it's going to help you sleep better at night. It's going to make everything else better. If you're not stressed about money, it opens the opportunity to be happier about a lot of other things. Money does not solve happiness, but it certainly does relieve stress, that's for sure. And, of course, focus on your hobbies. Make sure you're, keeping time for yourself, doing the things you love, and not giving up on things just because it's a little bit tricky or, you're feeling too exhausted. Everybody will have breaks. Everybody will kind of get in a rut and need to pick things up, but don't just give up on things. Don't think that you don't deserve the time to do other things you enjoy because you need to make money. You need to be thinking about this. It's not true. The best way to be productive is to be happy. Now guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. If you did enjoy, I would appreciate if you would consider subscribing to the channel and dropping a like on this video. I'm going to be posting plenty more videos about finance, personal finance, investments, cryptocurrency, all those things, lifestyle videos, and the like in the future. So you guys can join me for that. Comment down below, what did you think about this video? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. How have you managed graduating? If you haven't yet, are you going to be nervous? Are you feeling nervous already about it? Kind of what's going through your head. I'd love to hear it and respond to you guys as well. And thank you to Dossier for the partnership with this video. It is very nice to have them on board, so I do appreciate that, and you guys can check them out, link in the description.